How can I describe ABR in a few short words? Well, first of all, of course, it's not easy because it's been 27 years of my life that I've been in the rehabilitation of the children and young adults with the cerebral palsy, and of course putting it all together just in this kind of compact box is not easy, but I'll give it a try. So first is about the brain. What I've learned after working for numbers of years with more than several thousand children and young adults with cerebral palsy, most of them very severe, is one big lesson, that the brain is the source of solutions. Even after the brain injury, the brain is the one that looks for the better solutions. It's not the source of problems. And even the way that the spastic or rigid or any other wrong muscles have to be seen is only through the lens of the creative solutions that the brain looks for, because there are no better alternatives. So what does that mean? That means that the next step is to change our perspective of looking at the body. And what is the first point about ABR there is that we are looking at it with much greater detail compared to anybody else. So, for example, if you look at any contracture limitations of the movement, what would be the standard way of doing things? Trying to stretch the whole muscle, trying to put the entire child in the standing frame, trying to practice some big movements. So those are the things which are happening at the level or at the scale of decimeters or even meters, like feet, if we speak to the American audience, feet, yards. But what is our zoom? Our zoom is into the centimeters and inches, because once we zoom it, we understand that the muscle is not elementary. The big muscle that goes for a foot, 2 feet, right? So for decimeters is a large thing. So what we need to do, we need to change the scale, change the zoom. And once we change the zoom, we find a lot of things. We zoom in and we find that muscle is not elementary. It has all different components, attachments, enthesis, the way how it shifts and connects to the joint capsule, how it integrates with the ligaments and so on. So that's really the zoom that we are bringing through ABR. And that brings us to a different story, how we actually set the targets. So once we get the zoom, we target the essential elements, the attachments, and the connective tissue elements which are linked to it. Of course, we're greatly helped by the development of the fascia science and the connective tissue science in the last, say, 10-15 years, which give us a lot of information about what and how this whole tissue is comprised. So that defines the difference in the way ABR studies the body, explores the body. And that defines what we're actually going to do. So once we understood that we want to help the brain to get better creative solutions, to find better ways of doing things, what we want to do, we want to bring the new elements on the map. Those connective tissue elements which has been weakened, which has been out of the map of the body, we want to stimulate them and bring them on the map. And for this, there is a whole set of the techniques which are specifically designed with this kind of millimeter, centimeter, inch range in mind, in order to be able to get a very specific program of how we can turn those elements on and build a new range of opportunities for the brain in order to change the way how it regulates the posture, muscle tone, movement, and so on. So in short, that's the set of the main ideas and the main specifics of the advanced biomechanical rehabilitation.